For indeed in this we groan, longing to put on our dwelling which is from heaven, so that having put it on, we shall not be found naked. Again, this is good news he's starting to give you. All of this he said so that you'd have a platform to understand, hey, I'm here to bring good news. We read that in verse 4, the idea of this blinding of the minds against the good news or veiling of this good news. But now I'm revealing this stuff to you. Hey, we are flesh, but there's a greater body for us to be longing for and waiting on and preparing for and developing inside so we can get it on the outside, these kind of concepts, right? You've heard me say this many times. In 1 John, when John says, we do not know exactly what he's like, but we know that when we are changed to be like him, then we will see him as he is. And I've always told you, you're not going to be changed to physically be like him, which is what John was alluding to, unless you've already inside like him. You're changed internally to be like him. Does that make sense? And we're groaning and longing for this other one, so that when we put it on, we shall not be found naked. Now, I'm going to guess that what he's talking about again is if we were to go into the heavenlies and go to be putting on a body that inside we're not matching what the outside's going to be, we're going to be exposed, okay? Naked is often used for the idea of being exposed, not necessarily just without clothing on. But there's something exposed or revealed that way. There's nothing covering, hiding anything. Because if you're naked, there it is, it's all there, right? You don't have any clothing or anything to hide anything. Everything's right there. Well, you could also be that way in all other aspects of your life and the way you're thinking, that you're hiding things, you're covering things, and you're not just, guess what? In front of him, it's all exposed. And he's like basically saying, if you don't have the inside ready, I can't give you the outside. So the inside has to be renewed day by day. You have to keep working on it day by day. Your focus, be present here. The body can distract you from being focused on him. The flesh, the world, and all the other things can definitely be distractions from being focused on him. When things are going bad in your life, you know where depression comes from? Being focused on what isn't working. But if you focus on what will work, could work, is working, there's always, as Elder said during the praise and prayer, there's always something to praise. He says, let all flesh, whether you're depressed or not, whatever, praise him. Everybody should be praising him. But it's awful right now. But you're still on the journey. That's a praise. It ain't over. That's a praise. There's more you could be doing going forward. That's a praise. But your focus, if you only focus on what isn't working and what you can't do or what you think you can't do, then you're not going to get anywhere. What if you could focus on something more positive? Because again, he's talking about this idea of the set-apart spirit being something that we're sealed with. Okay, let's say I have a package and I seal that package. Can you open the package? Can you ruin the package? But I was sealed, and what it was sealed with was, let's say, the USDA stamp of approval, whatever it is, right? It's been inspected or whatever, so it's sealed. Because a seal is a mark of somebody has looked at it and approved it. That doesn't mean that it's not going to go bad at some point. Because people will read this saying, well, that's your golden ticket, you're in. You've been sealed. Well, he's made a promise, just like when you see a seal like on a thing of meat, that it was what I claim it was when I sealed it. Yahweh sealed it saying, I know you can make it. That's his seal. His seal of promise was, if you would do, you can get there. That doesn't mean you will. It just means that you were given the seal of approval that from this point you can get there. It's his good pleasure. Look, if you're a good parent, hopefully you're a good parent. Okay, a good parent wants only good things for their children. Okay, so we want to give and bestow upon them. We also don't want to spoil them. We want to correct them when needed, so that they would grow into the fullness of what they're capable of being, right? And so he's saying, just remember that all of this, he previously ordained and adopted us as sons through Messiah because it's his good pleasure to do so. This is all about him. Sometimes we make it about us. It's all about him. He makes it about us as he chooses, when he chooses, and what way he chooses. We are not supposed to ever make it about us. It's supposed to always be about him. Now, the part that's about us is that he wants us to want to be him. He wants us to want to be putting on that other body. He wants us to want to be in the kingdom. He wants us, right? That's where it's about us. He wants us to want it and to seek it, because if you don't desire it, you're not going to go after it. Problem is we desire things that we shouldn't desire, and we don't desire what we should desire, at least not in the right proportions, in the right measures. Okay, I'm a big believer in evolution from the point of that we have to evolve from this to that. Not evolution like in the physical fleshly idea that, monkeys became people, okay? or birds became what. I don't teach that ever. But there is evolving. When we're going to evolve from human in our mind grows and evolves. Do you think the same as you did when you were a child? Something evolved. It grew and changed. Do you think the same as you did, if you've been doing this, let's say for 3 years, you think the same as you did 5 years ago? No, not even. Actually, even if you've been doing this for 5 years, do you think the same as you did last year? If you're growing, the answer is no. You're still evolving, transforming, conforming, if that's what you prefer, into him. Well, I don't know why I have to deal with this and other people don't, because you're not them. They're not you. It's not complicated. Well, it's not fair. What's fair? Is it fair, knowing who you are, to give you a potential to live forever and be part of the kingdom? What's fair about that? Because Paul's going to say up to this point, in chapter 2, he says, you were dead in your trespasses. What did you deserve? Death. So is it fair? Is it fair that Messiah had to die so that you could have a chance at all of this? What's fair about all that? Well, it's not fair. Other people don't have to deal with this. Well, if you knew what they were dealing with, you might think it's pretty good. You might realize that compared to some people, you have it pretty good. Some people have it much tougher. Working all according to the counsel of his desire for us to be, listen, this is his desire, for us to be the praise of his esteem, those having first trusted in Messiah. So we're going to be the praise, saying, look at what it looks like when people listen to me. That's what Yah wants to say. Look at the result when people trust me. Look at the result when people do what I tell them to do. Look at the result. You're going to be my praise. Because people are going to say, what do you guys have going on that we don't have? Because you guys are doing great. Some of you are like, I've been doing this a long time and I'm not doing great. Well, maybe there's still stuff you have not learned and stuff that you're still struggling with, stuff you're still fighting against that you haven't embraced because you're kicking against it. Your blood was all jacked up and you got a transfusion. Wait. If you get a transfusion and go back to doing the drugs and all the other stuff that caused you to be sick in the first place, did the transfusion do anything? No. But if you start living a different life, it might keep you alive. But that's what happened, is Messiah was brought into our life. But what does it mean Messiah was brought into your life? You found out about the expectations and the relationship, the Torah. You found out about how to treat people differently, the fruit of the Spirit. You found out about all of these things which caused you, let me ask all of you a question, right? Caused you to act differently. Didn't all of you, when he first started Pop Your Bubble, make a behavioral change? In other words, some of you, the first thing you did was start keeping Sabbath. Some of you, the first thing you did was stop doing Christmas. This is the stories you guys tell me, right? Some of you, the first things you did was stop eating pork. Because those are usually the three main changes: Sabbath, kashrut, and holidays. So as Messiah was brought to you, there was an opening up of the enlightenment of the eyes, right? You were seeing things. You made changes that then merited favor, and then he gave you more. So when he says here, by meriting favor through belief, not that you had the belief of yourselves, like you just came up with it, he gave you something so that you could believe. But then you took it and did something with it, meriting his favor. Does that make any sense? That's the gift. You were dead in your trespasses. You tell me for a fact in your life and some of you ran around pretty bad, me included. I'm not trying to say, but some of us would look at ourselves and say, we were pretty bad. Was there any thought until he put that one in your head of where you would end up right now, and that there was a God that cared about you, and that there was something? Was there any thought of that when you were running around that way? So he gave you a gift, because there wasn't any thought of that. That wasn't something you can come up with on your own. He put a hole in that world, that delusional bubble of yours, and said, hi, come seek me. Well, he didn't really say hi that way. He disturbed your peace and said, come and find me.